Hey everybody, it's Facebook Live Friday, and I'm here today to talk to you about emotional eating and how to know if you're an emotional eater. I'm Melissa Costello. I'm the owner of Karma Chow. I am a holistic nutritionist and transformational eating coach. And I love to share special tips with you guys and talk about these really important topics around food and our bodies and health and all of that. So today I'm talking about emotional eating, and what I've noticed over the last couple days, especially since the election, is that a lot of people have been sharing on Facebook that they're needing to drink or turn to sugar, or I deserve to have the cinnamon roll, or people are just kind of drowning themselves or numbing themselves out with food. And so this is a way we emotional eat, when we turn to food to numb ourselves out. And I want to talk a little bit more about how to know if you're an emotional eater. So emotional eating is something that we do usually when we're bored, we're stressed, we're tired. It's really mostly something that happens when we eat when we're not hungry. I mean, how many times have you eaten when you're not hungry, right? Like, I do it often where I will come home and the house is quiet and I don't have much on my schedule, or I want to distract myself, and I'll go to the refrigerator and I'm not even really hungry, but I feel bored. So I'll look around for food and I'll just kind of wander around and open the cabinets and open the cupboards and I'll just look around for food because I'm bored. Food is very comforting. So when we're feeling stressed out, when we're feeling like we need comfort, or when we're feeling sad or emotional, we can definitely turn to food. And that's something that I've been noticing with people writing about on Facebook, because this has been a really emotional time for a lot of people. And there's been a great divide between a lot of Americans, and there's a lot of hate being spewed around, and there's a lot of criticism and things like that. And it's really easy to get caught up in all of that. So people will tend to turn to those things that provide comfort for them, or they will eat food when they're not necessarily hungry, or drink alcohol to feel better. And there's definitely other ways to feel better. We don't need to turn toward sugar or alcohol to do that. So how do you know if you're an emotional eater? Again, if you tend to eat when you're not hungry, if you tend to eat when you're under stress, if you tend to eat when you're tired or when you're bored, that could be a good sign that you're an emotional eater. Also, if you find yourself eating things that you wouldn't normally eat when other people aren't around, like you are a closet eater, that could be a big sign that you're an emotional eater as well. Our bodies really only want food when we're hungry. So when we're eating when we're not hungry, that's usually driven by some kind of other hunger in us, whether it's a hunger for rest, or a hunger for stress relief, or a hunger for self-care. It's usually driven by some other hunger. So that is one good way, or those are a few good ways to know if you're an emotional eater, and really starting to look at the times when you eat when you're really not hungry. And one of the biggest times that I mentioned is that transition time. A lot of times when we come home from work, the first thing we'll do is go to the refrigerator, or at night after dinner when things start to quiet down. That's another big time that people tend to emotionally eat, because they get bored, or they're alone, or they feel like it's quiet downtime and they just want things to comfort them. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple things that you can do when you notice that you start to go toward emotional eating. So one of the things you can do is when you're going toward food and you're not really hungry, to ask yourself, what am I looking to get from this food? What am I looking to receive? What's the feeling I'm trying to get from this food? So that's one of the things that you can ask yourself. And it takes mindfulness and it takes awareness. And this is something that, if it's been a struggle for you, and you know that you turn to food when you feel sad, or when you feel tired, or when you feel lonely, then this is a great action to take when you are moving toward food and your body doesn't really want it. So one of the things you can ask yourself is, what am I looking to get from this? And wait to hear the answer. And if you're needing something else besides food, give that to yourself. If you need comfort, call a friend. If you need rest, go lay down. If you're stressed out, take some deep breaths. Do something that's really nourishing to you besides eating food, especially if you're not hungry. So that's one really, really good tip. Another tip that you can do if you're an emotional eater is to not only ask that question, what am I really looking for, but to really understand what it is that you're feeling in the moment. And I know that's hard for a lot of people, and they think, oh, I don't want to feel my feelings, or oh, that's too hard. But one thing you can do is just step away, take 3 deep breaths, just reconnect with yourself and get quiet. Because a lot of times when we're bored or when we're stressed, we're finding that we're always looking for something outside of ourselves, and we're really disconnected to ourselves. So it's really great to just step away, take a few deep breaths, reconnect with yourself, and then take the next right action for you. And that's going to be different for everyone. So what is the next right action for you? So I really want you to ask that question when you step away, not only what am I looking to get from this food other than nourishment, but when you're stepping away, asking yourself, what's the next right action for me that's going to serve me and it's going to feel good? And if you are struggling with feelings around the election and you've been emotional or you've been upset or you felt attacked in any way, it's good to process those emotions and to talk to someone and not hold it in, because this is a really big chance for us all to rise up and to really show up in a loving way for each other and to connect one another and not divide one another. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.